Zumwalt.
Here.
Garrett is not here. Huffman.
Here.
Hughes is not here. Garcia.
Here.
Holloway.
Here.
Kellenberger.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Next up here, we have the new city report. I talked to the aldermen, and one of the big things we have in the pipeline here is we were approved for some Kilton funds for new pickleball courts at Madison Park. So that's a big deal, 100% funded from the Kilton Fund. So that's a big deal. This is the first meeting where we shared our full council packet online for the public to see. I had a lot of good feedback on that, so the public now can see the same packet that we see and ask questions. I don't know if any of you had any questions, but I had a few. I think that's a good thing going forward. We had brush pickup. I talked to Street Department Head Dave Crocs, and it went smooth, and all the brush and all the wards has been picked up. Thanks again for your guys' service on that. Pickers Market, Stacy, is this Sunday. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and we have another good turnout. Last Pickers was great for Mother's Day. I don't know if you all had a chance to go, but it was wonderful. And then last spring, I'll let you fill in the blanks. We signed our the county signed the animal control contract, and when's that gonna start?
They plan on starting mid-June. They do have a new animal control officer, so we're hoping in a couple weeks here, and we will do a press release to inform the public when we have an official start date.
Awesome, and that's all I had for the city update. For the public participation, I believe someone wrote a letter.
They did, so I'll read the letter for them. It says, "To whom it may concern, we have lived at our residence for 30 years, and for the past 15 years, I've been trying to get the city to do something about my neighbors' yards. I have taken pictures, I have even hand-delivered them to the mayor, Steve Darty, talked to the building code enforcement officer, Gary Edwards. His recommendation was for them to put up a fence. The problems just got worse. This mess has caused cockroaches in my house, rodents in my garage, luckily not in my house yet. It is affecting my quality of life. As much time as he spends trying to hide the mess from the city, it could have been cleaned up. Our opinion is if they have a violation like this, they should be blacklisted from city cleanup. Thank you for your time, and hopefully we can get something accomplished." And then do I reveal who it was from, or just
Not
that?
if you didn't sign
Okay.
it. And Alderman Hughes brought this to our attention. He wasn't able to be here tonight, but he did ask that this be read. A citizen had provided it to him. I did just want to address it. This is something that Alderman Hughes turned in, and that Shane Kramer, our code enforcement officer, is currently actively addressing. I believe Mr. Baker has addressed this case as well in the past. We will continue to enforce all properties in regard to this specific case and throughout the city as well. We're very excited to have a full-time code enforcement officer so that we can make sure that we have ample time to keep up on these code cases and ensure everyone is in compliance, because it is very important to protect neighboring properties. So we're taking this seriously, and hopefully his concern will be mitigated very soon here.
Yeah, I think the timing's really good. We have a former police officer fully enforcing ordinances, so I think that's gonna help.
For sure.
Where does this person live?
Ward 3.
It was Ward 3.
Ward 3,
They
yes.
came out of Ward 3 on Jackson.
If you could forward me the address either tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
If you- And I will note, he hasn't talked to recently with us, that if you note the names on there, they're from a while back, so.
But we are, we're going to ensure that it is handled. Officer Grammer we're still doing code enforcement, through the building and zoning office for this next month while Officer Grammer is out. So code enforcement services are available. Officer Grammer will start full-time in his code enforcement position at the beginning of July.
All right, well, next here, looks like we'll need a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from the May 15th, 2025 meeting. Would someone like to make that motion? All right, Garcia, do I have a second? Alderwoman Sisson, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Holloway,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Huffman,
Yes.
Kellenberger,
Yeah.
Sisson.
Yep, yes.
All right, motion carries. Now we'll need a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes for April 3rd, 2025 as amended to correct a Scrivener's error on appointments and committees. Would someone like to make that motion? Zumwalt, do I have a second? Alderperson Garcia, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Garcia,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye. Alright, motion carries. Next, I'll need a motion to accept the amended meeting dates for city council for 2025 to correct a Scrivener's error and reflect a regular meeting on Tuesday, July 1st, 2025.
I will.
First from Zumwalt, second from Garcia. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Sisson,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Alright, next we have a request for proposals for the sale and development of city-owned and optioned property. And Mike, I'll let you take the floor with that.
Okay, so, we put out a request for proposals. And I believe we only received one proposal, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
What you have in front of you.
I'm gonna open this one proposal and see what it says. Okay. We have a packet of information here, and it looks like a thumb drive. Here's an original and a copy. This is from National Primers LLC. Dear Mayor Fleming and City Council members, please allow these documents to serve as a formal proposal of National Primers. We submit herewith an original in one copy and a flash drive containing materials which are submitted in PDF format. National Primers submits its proposal with the intent of building a state-of-the-art ammunition primer manufacturing facility. National Primers will invest approximately $57 million to build and construct this state-of-the-art facility, and will create approximately 85 full-time jobs for residents in and around Litchfield. The facility is comprised of 2 buildings, manufacturing facility, and a research and development lab. This investment is aimed at fostering innovation, developing new products and technologies. National Primers has diligently and meticulously developed its business model to address a worldwide shortage of primers and a shortage of lab space for research and development. Aims to break ground October 2025 and expects to be fully operational within 24 months. I'm sort of paraphrasing.
Can you repeat?
Sure.
Can you repeat what, that last part?
National Primers aims to break ground in October 2025 and expects to be fully operational within 24 months. When fully operational, National Primers will be the second largest primer production facility in the United States and the largest in the world. Let's see. All right, so additionally, with the expansion of production capacity, National Primers will create an additional 70 to 150 jobs. It is anticipated that such expansion will occur as early as our 5th year of production. There are 2 phases. First, to address the imperative need to construct the primer manufacturing facility, and second, to expand its present production capacity or engage in the complementary lines of business. Let's see. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I'm gonna kind of move forward here a little bit. National Primers is prepared to purchase 200 acres of land at a price of $2,500 per acre, which will support both phase 1 and phase 2 of our development plans, each which would require 100 acres. Furthermore, National Primers requests that our location falls within an enterprise zone, allowing for a 5-year tax abatement, for 5 years, 50% tax abatement, as well as enterprise zone sales tax exemptions for building materials and equipment purchased. The entire National Primers team is available to answer any questions the city may have, and looks forward to a mutually beneficial relationship. Very truly yours, Don Mildrum, CEO. And then we have, it looks like a list of questions and a list of answers about maybe more of the specifics of this proposal. But I think, oh, here's a, industrial development project proposal that was, attached. This is a good summary. Entity name, National Primers LLC. This is light manufacturing. The agents are Tim O'Donnell, Dr. Joseph Gira, and the CEO is Don Mildrum. Don Mildrum's email address is listed. Phase 1 project, National Primers. I already gave you that information, and then phase 2 is listed with all the specifics and the incentives that they're looking for. So, that is, that's the bid for the property. And it looks like there will be more information, on a thumb drive for the council to consider.
Awesome.
So that's what we have.
That's great news, thank you, Mike. Any discussion on that? All right, let's move on after that good news. Alderperson Kellenberger, you're first on the list, my friend.
Make a motion to approve emergency repair for Carnegie Building from Young's Roofing for amount not to exceed $38,060.
I'll second it.
First from Alderperson Kellenberger, and a second from Alderperson Zumwalt. Get that there?
Yep.
Do we have any discussion?
Go ahead.
So, couple of questions, but one, is there a certain, what defines where it has to go out for bid? Is this an emergency repair, make it not have to go out for bid?
That's correct.
And what deems an emergency repair?
So an emergency repair is loosely defined in state statute and in our code. It's any repair that, so for example, this falls into the category of occurring because of a natural disaster and leaving it as is, in its current condition to go through the formal bidding process could acquire more damage to the structure during that time.
And then lastly, how did we settle on this
They're the ones that installed the original roof. So they had all of our information on it. So Mr. Baker reached out to them. They are still in business, given that they were the original suppliers. They're the ones we went to.
You guys sign a waiver to do this? Like with the state of Illinois, when I was the business administrator at Graham, anytime we had to do an emergency like this, we had to sign a waiver validating that this is why we're doing this and not going through the bid process.
We do not have a waiver process currently. It all runs through our insurance, and then that documentation serves as the necessary emergency.
I think the process, that we go through, what you're talking about signing the waiver, we're basically getting that waiver right now through the council. We have it in our spending policy, how we're supposed to do this. The threshold is kind of like, if we have to wait to do the repair, will it do more harm than if we did it now? And then we make that determination, like, okay, we need to do this right now, we get it done, and then we bring that information to you guys, and you approve it. That's basically making it public as to what we did, why we did it, and making sure that you're okay with it. Obviously, we can't go back in time and undo it, but we certainly wanna make sure that the citizens know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and that there was a reason that we didn't go out for bid, is basically what this says.
We also have our insurance evaluators, weigh in on whether they deem this as an emergency and whether they feel comfortable under their policy having a repair weight.
No, good points. I will say that roof was 30 years old, so it's It's good.
Yeah, good question.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. I'm gonna skip back to other business. I skipped over one earlier, my apologies. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll need a motion to approve the expenditure report and payroll report for the current period. I'm sure everyone wants to get paid. So would someone like to make that motion? Alderman Garcia, Alderman Holloway, first and second. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Garcia, Holloway.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Alderperson Zumwalt, you're up next.
I make a motion to award a bid to Durbin Excavating for the demolition, debris removal, and necessary backfill of 3 vacant residential structures for amount not to exceed $16,610.
I got a motion. Can I get a second please?
I'll second.
Alright, Alderperson Hoffman, a second there, first and second. Any further discussion on this? This was just a demoed building, we saw no lot. We demoed.
They've done a lot of this for us before, right, Durbin's? Okay.
This is actually the company that took down the sleeping room and had that.
Okay.
And
they've
this
done
is
other
actually-
demos as well.
Yeah, sorry about that. This is actually the motion to approve the demolition of 3 current existing structures.
Perfect.
We did get 9 quotes and they were scattered everywhere. Just well-known company and they do a good job for the money.
Nice, good to have you. So this is to do this demo, correct. Any further discussion? Roll call please.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Holloway.
Alright, motion carries. Alderman Zumwalt.
I make a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the execution of a real estate contract to sell 901 South McKinley Avenue, PIN number 15-4-428-015 to Jared and Kristen Lilly.
Alright, got a motion. Can I get a second please? Alderperson Sisson. Any discussion? This was the lot I was thinking of that we purchased, skipped ahead. Alright, roll call please.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Alderperson Sisson. You're up, my lady. You're up.
I am.
Oh, wait, you skipped yours.
Skip
yours.
Yeah, there's another real estate.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I got an old, version. Alright, whoever's up, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the execution of a real estate contract to sell,
We have a Scrivener there, it's the corner of Columbia and McKinley.
to sell the corner of Columbia and McKinley, PIN number 15-04-279-011 to Jared and Kristen Lilly.
Alright, can I get a second please?
Sisson.
Alderperson Sisson. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Garcia,
Yes.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Alright, Alderperson Zumwalt, please.
I make a motion to approve a resolution approving and authorizing a demolition agreement for the demolition of 417 South Harrison Street.
Alright, can we get a second? Alderperson Huffman, any discussion? Roll call please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Now you're up.
Okay. I make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the enrollment of 3 students in the School of EMS paramedic program for amount not to exceed $26,250 and authorizing reimbursement agreements for each of the 3 students.
Alright, got a motion, can I get a second please? Alright. Alderman Kellenberger seconds. Any discussion on this?
It is great.
And we'll say, how many students were going, Adam, was there
Three.
three? Great, great, I'm happy to see that. How are we doing in terms of staffing with EMT currently?
Well, we've still got 2 openings, but pending what the outcome is of the later number, I'm gonna advertise tonight for testing, so. Just
Wonderful.
wanted to wait until the MOU was approved or not approved before we announced.
Awesome, I'm glad to hear that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Alderperson Sisson.
I make a motion to approve a resolution waiving competitive bidding requirements and approving and authorizing the repair of a ladder truck by Max Fire and Safety for an amount not to exceed $36,789.79.
All right, we have a motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
That's all I had.
Okay.
And we got second?
Well, I'll take it, Kellenberger. We have a bunch of seconds. Seniority rules, right?
Yeah, okay. I do have, without question, but the reason why this is, because he's the only one that does this type of work, correct?
So he's the only one that can provide the part.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause it's
Because
a
it's a
KME
yeah.
part.
Okay.
He could sell it to another person to make the repair, but he's gonna jack it up, I mean.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
we've dealt with that in the past, on like something such as a windshield. We had somebody else put in the windshield, they had to buy it from him, there was markup here, markup
Yep.
there. So, it just makes the most sense.
Perfect. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Huffman, Sisson,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
All right, does anyone want to read this one for Alderperson Garrell? Any volunteers? All right, thank you, Sarah.
I make a motion to approve a resolution approving an agreement with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation for rail highway grade crossing surface improvements.
All right, we have a motion. Can I get a second, please? All right, Alderperson Garcia. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. You just have a good job.
Okay. I make a motion to approve an emergency repair on a 2020 Freightliner VACCon sewer jetter vac truck from EJ Equipment. That's fun.
All right, we got a motion. Can I get a second, please? Alderperson Sisson seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Kellenberger,
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Alderman Holloway, do you wanna do this one for your peers?
It'd be an honor. I motion to approve memorandums of understanding with the Laborers International Union of North America, Laborers Local 773, the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council, and the Litchfield Firefighters Local Number 3252 to amend residency requirements for bargaining unit members.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Alderman Garcia seconds that. In terms of discussion, what you talking about?
I do have a message from Alderman Hughes, who had a pre-scheduled trip and couldn't make it tonight. Before I read it, I do want to note that he was essential in getting this residency, amendment completed, so we do thank him for all of his work on this. His email says, unfortunately, I will not be there tonight for the vote over the radius expansion, but I was hoping you could read this note to the city council tonight. To the mayor and members of the city council, I am unable to be there tonight for the vote that will expand the radius for various city departments. However, I wish to express my full support for this action. This will not only increase our city workforce and allow us to tackle new projects, I also think in time it will increase the city population. I encourage everyone to vote this direction tonight. I believe all around it will be good for our city. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Alderman J. Hughes. Alderman Garrell also could not be here tonight, and he wanted me to express his full support as well.
Well, so we spent a lot of time talking about this. I think it's a big deal. We compared to other cities. This seems to be the norm now. We're just catching up. And the biggest thing is our best asset is our employees sitting right out there. And we've had a lot of staffing issues. We're hoping This will help with that and make us more efficient. I don't know if I summarized that well. Any other discussion on that? All right, roll call, please.
Garcia.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderman Holloway, one more, please.
I make a motion to approve an ordinance amending section 32.02 residency requirement of the municipal code to amend residency requirements for non-bargaining employees.
Motion. Alderman Garcia seconds. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
All right, and with that, we'll need a motion to enter into executive session as allowed under the Illinois Open Meetings Act as found in Chapter 5 of the Illinois Compiled Statutes, Section 120, to address these certain and restricted items.
Okay, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. Let's see, and discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully held under this act for review. This is 5 ILCS 122 to C, 6, 1, 5, and 21.
Make a motion for that. Alderperson Sewell, second please. Alderperson Garcia. All right, roll call, please.
Huffman.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now,